Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into something that's probably on the mind of every single nursing student out there, the NCLEX-RN exam. Look, we know it's that final, massive hurdle before you can kickstart your career, and the pressure, it can feel absolutely huge. But don't you worry, we're going to break down a super clear, structured way to get you through it, building your success one block at a time. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to kick things off with the most important piece of the puzzle, your mindset, which is all about the power of self-efficacy. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of building your foundation, actually implementing your plan, we'll talk final prep, and, this is crucial, pampering. And finally, we'll get you ready for conquering exam day. And let's just be real for a second, this is exactly how it feels, right? Like everything you've poured your heart and soul into for years comes down to this one moment. That feeling can be totally overwhelming, I get it. But, just acknowledging that pressure, that's the very first step to getting a handle on it. You are definitely not alone in feeling this way. So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you push past all that anxiety and actually channel everything you learned in nursing school into a passing grade? Because here's the secret. Success on this thing isn't just about what you know. It's about having a completely bulletproof plan for how you prepare.
And the answer is to stop seeing it as this one giant scary monster of a test. Instead, we're going to approach it with a structured framework we're calling the pyramid to success. It's a method that starts with your mindset and builds all the way up to exam day, making sure you have an absolutely solid foundation for that victory.
Let's start at the base of our pyramid. Seriously, before you even think about cracking open a textbook, we have to forge your mindset. And this all kicks off with a really powerful psychological idea, self-efficacy. Self-efficacy. It's a term that comes from the psychologist Albert Bandura. And what it boils down to is this. It's your belief in your own ability to get the job done. It's that inner voice, that gut feeling that says, yeah, I can do this. And that self-belief, it directly shapes your behavior, how much effort you put in, and how well you persevere when things get tough. And the impact of this belief, it's like night and day. When you have high self-efficacy, you work harder, you push through the tough spots, and you see challenges as, just tasks to be mastered. But with low self-efficacy, that self-doubt starts to creep in, and you might even start avoiding the really challenging stuff. And get this, studies have actually shown that self-efficacy is one of the biggest predictors of success on the NCLEX. It's that important. So, with that commitment to building a rock-solid belief in yourself, it's time to lay down the next layer of our pyramid, a real, concrete, actionable plan. This is where we start mapping out your path to success. This slide here gives you a bird's eye view of the whole pathway. We're going to group these 6 steps over the next few sections, starting with building that foundation of a positive attitude, creating what we call the list, and then developing your own personal plan. Okay, to start building that foundation, we've got to begin with some quick, honest self-reflection. Just ask yourself, am I a goal setter? Is that something I naturally do? And here's the follow-up, and it's an important one. Do you actually follow through? Do you accomplish the goals you set for yourself? No judgment here, just be honest. This is all about self-awareness. And last one, how do you react when things get hard? When life throws you a curveball, do you find a way to push through, or do you get knocked off track? Knowing your own patterns is absolutely crucial. Okay, once you've done that little bit of self-reflection, the next step is to make it practical. It's time to create the list. I'm serious. Grab a journal and literally write down your goals. Everything from what you want to get done today to what you're aiming for next week, all the way up to that ultimate goal of passing the NCLEX. Writing them down makes them real. All right, you've got the mindset dialed in, you've got your goals written down. Now we get to the real meat of the pyramid, creating and, most importantly, implementing your study plan. This is where the journey really begins. To build a plan that actually works, it has to be yours. This is not a one-size-fits-all situation. So ask yourself these key questions. Do you really thrive in a study group, or do you need total silence? Are you a morning person or a night owl? How are you realistically going to balance study time with family and work? And where is your distraction-free zone? Your plan has to work for your life. Now, for a major piece of strategy, where in the world do you start? The single best piece of advice is to dive headfirst into your weakest content area. I know, it sounds awful, but trust me, tackling the hardest thing first builds incredible momentum and boosts your confidence right where you need it the most. And this number right here, it perfectly illustrates the kind of practice that breeds success. The target number is 4,000. Yes, you heard me right, 4,000 practice questions. This isn't just about memorizing facts. It's about training your brain to see the patterns and apply clinical judgment again and again and again. But look, that kind of intense work is a marathon, not a sprint. If you don't take care of yourself, you are going to burn out, period. Which brings us to our next critical section, final prep and what we call positive pampering. This is all about sustaining your energy for the long haul. Positive pampering is a strategic weapon in your study plan. You have to schedule time for exercise and fun. You've got to fuel your body and your brain with good food. Think complex carbs and tons of water, and stay away from those fatty foods that just make you feel sluggish. Do things that wake your brain up but are also relaxing, like taking a walk somewhere peaceful. This isn't an indulgence, folks. It's a flat-out necessity. As you get closer to exam day, your strategy has to change. 1 week out, do a trial run. Literally drive to the testing center so you know exactly where you're going. Then, and this is so important, 2 days before the exam, stop studying. Just stop. You've done the work, now your brain needs time to rest and consolidate all that information. The day before should be all about relaxing and doing something you actually enjoy. And here we are. We've made it to the very peak of the pyramid. All the preparation, the mindset work, the thousands of questions, it has all led to this single moment. So let's talk about how to conquer what we're going to call Victory Day.
On the day of the exam, keep a simple mantra in your back pocket. First, breathe. If you feel that anxiety creeping up, just use a simple 4-count breath to calm yourself down. Second, believe. Believe in all the hard work you've put in. Third, control. Remember that you are in command of your thoughts. And finally, visualize. Actually see your name with those 2 amazing letters, RN, right after it.
I want you to let this one really sink in. You have worked so hard to get here. You have made sacrifices. You have built your pyramid to success, piece by piece. Your belief in yourself is the most powerful tool you have, and it's what will carry you across that finish line. No obstacle can stop you when you are this prepared and this focused. You've built the pyramid. You've done the work. So the only question left to ask is this: are you ready to see registered nurse after your name? Because it's time to go claim it.